I want to speak a little bit about the Enterprise Mobility and Security Suite from Microsoft, specifically around what it actually contains. So we've been following Microsoft for quite some years. They've always had management platforms like SCCM. They've introduced Intune. It's been around for roughly 10 years, but really this is their first unified endpoint management suite that focuses on identity, security, as well as device management into a single platform. It's very integrated with the Microsoft 365 services suite. So Office 365, Exchange Online, Azure Active Directory, as well as some of the traditional management tools. So this was formerly known as Intune, and a few months back, around one of Microsoft's conferences, they decided to rename this to Microsoft Endpoint Manager. You might hear it called MEM. So I think that really blurred the lines in between what their SCCM on-premise platform was and their cloud-based management platform of Intune. So really bringing that suite into one single pane of glass for all endpoints. So with this merge, they've really put forth the true unified endpoint management suite, which is really controlling device management, so your apps and your policies, some of the data protection that goes along with that in the Office 365 suite, as well as the security, so conditional access and these sorts of things from Windows 10, iOS, Mac OS, as well as Android. So, so many of these features that come in this one product suite, what does it take to effectively deploy these utilities within your organization? We refer to it as the modern desktop journey. It's really a transformational strategy you're looking at, so bringing all your endpoints into a single pane of glass. But really, before you start to explore it and play around with Enterprise Mobility Suite, we really suggest you build this strong cross-functional team. I think in the early days, from my background in enterprise mobility management, most companies still today form this center of excellence, right, to accomplish these overall organizational-wide strategies. EMS uses kind of those same tenets of implementing mobile management, but it applies to all endpoints, not just mobile devices.
To start this discussion off around Teams, let's just get a quick understanding of what it is. So Microsoft Teams is part of the Office 365 platform. It has both communication and collaboration features. The communication features that you're aware of are chat, voice, video, screen sharing. On the collaboration side, that includes meetings, persistent chat, files, channels, tabs, and bots. Now, keep in mind, this Teams, there's no on-prem version of Teams. This is a composite application on the Microsoft 365 platform. It uses Office 365 groups to store team owners and team members and the configuration settings for the team. It'll use SharePoint and OneDrive to store documents, and it'll use Stream to basically render your screen during meetings, recording, and playback functionality.
As I spoke about earlier, my team delivers the Enterprise Mobility Suite. It's a team of architects and engineers. Just to give some background, I'll first kind of go over what our services are. I'll show you a little bit about what our service looked like prior to adopting Teams, and then I'll show you a little bit about how we actually work with customers and implemented Teams to totally revamp how we do services remotely, especially nowadays. So we offer 3 different levels of services for implementing enterprise mobility and security. We can look at the basic. It's a 2-week engagement. And really you want to think of this as a pilot. When you get into advanced, this is a bit longer of an engagement, right? We're looking at 12 to 24 weeks. Generally, our customers that choose this environment we're looking at implementing pilot for multiple platforms, doing some testing, and then helping you move that to production for your larger fleet. And then on enterprise, it's more of that desktop journey that I was speaking about earlier. So we're looking at the E5 security features, right? This is advanced threat protection, information protection, as well as endpoint management. You can build a team out with pre-populated channels ready to go. So things like data security, desktop engineering, and endpoint security. So we can already have those channels ready to go. And what that really allows us to do is have channel-specific conversations. So if we're going to do meetings with the desktop engineering group, all the files, all the data we share, the conversations we have can be very specifically categorized by topic. Project repository is probably one of the most exciting things for our team, right? I talked about the different types of file sharing we were doing, which caused, when you're trying to close a project or deliver, a complete set of resources to a customer, you're pulling from a lot of different repositories. Now we have this common shared repository between my engineering team as well as the customer's team. We can pre-build that folder structure the way it needs to be, and also preload some of the prerequisite guides, any sort of prerequisite documentation we have. It's just all there when the channel is created. And then we're, not super advanced, but a little bit more. We're using Planner to manage our projects amongst the different teams. This has been very helpful because we have the ability to use things like labeling, so we can easily label and assign those tasks to the appropriate group. I think one of the main benefits here for us was that the projects are always changing and new requirements come up. And when you're working in a very rigid project management style, it's hard to react to that. So we found this to be very helpful. And now we're starting to integrate it back into project and expand our project management ability. One of the things, when Thomas was talking about what Teams offers, one of the things that we suggest you think about is that it is an app platform. So we've now built a bot that integrates into our services channel. What this really allowed us to do is identify troubleshooting requests. When we were doing a 6 to 12 month engagement, it's a very long-lived chat, right? You're talking thousands of messages back and forth. And our customers like to be able to just quickly send us a message and say, hey, can you take a look at this? Here's the issue I'm having. Our bot can now identify those requests and categorize them as troubleshooting tickets, and then post a message in the channel to say, hey, here's that troubleshooting ticket. And we can start having dialogue on that ticket specifically. So that's where I think the power of Teams really expanded our offering, right? It's no longer just one-to-one or, different tools for different types of communication. It's one tool for one form of communication.
From an adoption standpoint, we really boil down adoption as communication and training, just execution on those things. Adoption from a usage metric is important, but we find that really making sure that your users know how to access the tools and use them properly is the most important thing. And to do that, it requires communication and training. Definitely in your deployments of Teams, include corporate communications with your communication plans, and also include your training departments as part of your training efforts as well.